Sarah had always believed that life was built on small, steady steps. Born in a modest neighborhood on the outskirts of London, she was raised by parents who believed in education, honesty, and humility. Her father ran a small stationery shop, and her mother taught at a local school. Sarah grew up watching her parents work tirelessly, not for luxury, but for dignity. From a young age, Sarah dreamed of something more, not just wealth or fame, but meaning. She wanted to build something of her own, to make her family proud. After completing her degree in business management, she began working at a small marketing firm, her mind buzzing with ideas, her heart full of quiet determination. That's where she first saw him, William Carter. The name itself carried weight. He was the CEO of Carter Enterprises, a powerful, confident man who had turned a struggling tech company into one of the fastest-growing firms in the UK. The newspapers called him the modern king of innovation. But Sarah saw something else behind those sharp blue eyes, a deep solitude, a calm that hinted at years of sacrifice. It was a regular Tuesday morning when fate crossed their paths. Sarah had been asked to deliver a presentation to Carter Enterprises about a new branding proposal. Nervous, she clutched her folder, adjusting her blazer, her mind rehearsing every word. When she entered the sleek glass boardroom, there he was, William, tall, poised, and radiating quiet authority. He watched as she spoke, her voice trembling at first, then growing steady. Her words weren't polished like a seasoned executive's, but they were real. Her ideas were fresh, creative, and full of passion. When she finished, there was a brief silence. William leaned back, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "You're not afraid to speak differently," he said. "That's rare." Sarah's cheeks flushed. "I just believe every brand should tell a story, not just sell a product." For a moment, their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them. It wasn't love at first sight, but it was a spark, the beginning of a quiet connection that neither could ignore. Over the next few weeks, Sarah was hired as a consultant for one of William's upcoming projects. Their meetings became more frequent, and soon their professional conversations turned into personal ones. They'd talk about books, music, dreams, and sometimes silence, comfortable, unforced silence. One evening, after a long strategy session, William walked her to her car. The city lights shimmered like distant stars reflecting off his expensive watch. "You work too much," Sarah teased. "You need to let life breathe a little," he chuckled softly. "Coming from someone who spends weekends designing presentations?" She smiled. "Touché." Then his expression softened. "You remind me of something I almost forgot," he said quietly. "What it feels like to start from nothing with hope." It was the first time she saw the man behind the title, the one who still carried a boy's heart beneath layers of success. Months passed, and their bond deepened. They met for coffee after meetings, shared long drives after work, and sometimes simply sat watching the rain fall over the city skyline from his office window. But love between two worlds is never simple. William's life was filled with headlines, investors, and expectations. Sarah was still the girl who took the subway to work and sent half her paycheck home to her parents. One night, as they sat in his car, she whispered, "I don't fit in your world, William." He turned to her, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "You don't have to fit in, Sarah. You change it." And in that moment, something inside her melted: the fear, the hesitation, the invisible wall she'd built around her heart.
When William proposed, it wasn't in front of cameras or crowds. It was on a quiet hilltop overlooking the city lights. He knelt down, holding a simple diamond ring. Not enormous, but elegant, meaningful. "Sarah," he said, his voice trembling for the first time she'd ever heard. "You taught me that success means nothing without someone to share it with. Will you marry me?" Tears welled in her eyes. She nodded, unable to speak. That night, as they stood together under the stars, Sarah realized that her life was about to change forever. Not because she was marrying a CEO, but because she was marrying a man who believed in her. Their wedding was a blend of simplicity and grace, white roses, soft piano music, close family and friends. The media tried to spin it into a fairy tale, but Sarah never wanted to be a fairy tale bride. She wanted to be a partner, a dreamer, and a builder. As she stood beside William, her heart whispered a quiet promise to herself: I will never lose who I am, no matter how big this life becomes. And so began the next chapter of her life. A world of mansions, gala dinners, luxury cars, and endless opportunities. But what she didn't know yet was that beneath the glittering perfection of wealth, there would be new tests of patience, love, and identity. Because love, no matter how grand the house or how golden the life, always demands courage.